Rashmi. Welcome to SRS Info. Today we will continue with the chapter that is Pharmaceutical Dosage Forms and New Drug Delivery System. Today we will discuss about the manufacturing defects in tablets. So, during the routine production of tablets, there is a possibility to come many defects during the production and after the production when it is the time to store. Then we can find different types of defects arise out of this tablets. So, we have to understand what are the main reasons why these defects are coming. Mainly, there are three reasons. What are they? It may be due to the fault in the formulation. For examples, what are the ingredients and in which formula they are mixed together to form proper granules. If there is any fault in this formulation, it may lead to the defect in the manufacturing. And second one, it may be due to the fault in the tablet making equipment. If the equipments are not in the proper condition, it may lead to the defective production of tablets. And the third reason is the combination of both of this fault. That is, we are making tablet with the worn out equipments by using the defective or degraded formulations. It may lead to the manufacturing defect of tablets. Now let's understand these defects in detail. Some defects are noticed immediately during manufacturing, during the production process, and some others may be noticed at the time of storage. The tablets are ejected out from the dies, and after that, when it is the time to pack and store, some types of defects may be noticed at the time of the storage. And in some cases, it needs some test to detect the defect. Okay, so this test can be done at the beginning and during the production to take prompt and remedial action. To prevent these defects, we have to do proper test. Okay. So for observing and preventing these defects, first we have to identify the defects. For this identification, we have classified the defects of tablets into 7 types. What are they? Binding in the dye, capping and splitting of tablets, picking and sticking, mottling, weight variation, hardness variation, and double impressions. These are the main defects which are noticed during the production and after the production of tablets. Today we will discuss about the first two. The first one is binding in the dye. See, in the earlier classes we have discussed about the manufacturing process of tablets. This is the upper punch, lower punch and dye. Okay, the granules are come into this dies and the upper punch comes down and the lower punch push out. The compression takes place here and the tablets formed and it is ejected out. Okay, this is a simple process by which a tablet is produced. And what is meant by binding in the dye? The sticking or binding of the granules on the dye. And this occurs due to poor lubrication of granules or under dried granules and dirty or worn out dyes. Okay, these are the main reason why this binding in the dye occurs. Maybe the granules are not properly lubricated or it is extremely dried. Otherwise, there is a possibility of the usage of worn out dyes. The maintenance of the quality of the equipment is very important during the production of tablets. So if we use the worn out dyes, then there is a possibility of binding. Then fine powder from the granules seeps downwards and forms a thick layer on the dye. So the granulation process is one of the most important step during the production of process of tablet. The granules should not be extremely fine and it should not be extremely coarse. Okay, it has to maintain a proper granulation stage. So if the powder is extremely fine, then the fine powder from the granules seeps downward and forms a thick layer on the dye here. Okay, which hinders the free movement of the punches. If the powder is extremely dense in this area, then the punches cannot push up and comes down. This will lead to the binding in the dye. The ejection of the tablet is very difficult if the granules are not properly punched or pressurized and form the tablet. If there is binding of the dye occurs, then it's very difficult to eject the tablet. And this binding in the dye is often accompanied by a characteristic noise. Why? the machines are worn out and the punches are not working in a smooth way, the flow is not smooth, then a characteristic noise will arise. Then if you use these types of burnout dies and making the tablet which is very defective, okay, then the defective tablets are characterized with the rough edges. Okay, that this is the tablet which is come out from the dies which is not properly working. Then what happened, the sides become rough, it is not in a finished form. So we can identify the defect even after the formation of the tablet, okay, even after the ejection of the tablet. So these are the main reasons and characteristics of this binding in the die. Second one is capping and splitting of tablets. What is capping? See, this is the tablet and sometimes the tablets are under different layers. So after making the finished tablet, if it shows that if the ingredients of these tablets are not mixed properly and separates out from the inner layer, then the cap will be formed. The upper and the lower surface of the tablet partially or completely separates out from the main body of the tablet. This is the main body and the lower or upper surface. This is the second layer. Lower or the upper surface of the tablet partially or completely separated from the main body of the tablet. This is known as capping. In lamination, the tablet separates into two or more layers. Then after capping, it will split. This is called as capping and splitting. So what are the main causes of this capping and splitting? Due to entrainment of air in the granules. Again, notice here, the granulation is one of the most important steps in the production of tablets. Due to the entrainment of air in the granules, which is not removed during compression but escapes afterwards when the pressure is released. This is one of the main cause by which capping and splitting happens. The granules have to be free from air. If the granules are not free from the air bubbles, it cannot be removed during compression. The compression takes place at this time. This is the upper and lower punches dies. The compression is taking place here, but the air bubbles are still there. Okay, but when the pressure is released, the air will come out. When the air is come out from the tablet after the formation of tablet, what will happen? This is the tablet, is the air bubble is here. After the formation of the tablet, this is under pressure. The tablet is formed under heavy pressure. Okay. When the pressure is released here, then what will happen? The air bubbles will try to come out due to excessive pressure. At this time, there is a possibility of breaking of this layers of the tablet. That is why the capping and splitting of tablet occurs. And due to the presence of either excess of fine powder in the granules or less amount of fineness in granules. The fine powder, that is granulation again. Proper granulation is very important. If the quantity of the fine powder is excessively increased or excessively decreased, both the situation are not at all used for the preparation of a perfect tablet. If the powder is excessively high, the fine powder is excessively high in amount, then it will lead to this splitting. Okay, the formation does not work out properly. Use of soft granules, again the same is repeating. The wear and tear of punches and dies and the wrong setting of dies and punches. If the punches and dies are not settled in the proper way, the screws are not fitted, if it is not fitted in the same direction, in both these cases, the capping and splitting can occur. These defects may become evident immediately after compression or on storage. The splitting of a tablet can be found out immediately after compression or at the time of storage. So, what are the checking methods to find out the tablet is defective with this capping and splitting? We can check it by two methods. Either after making the finished tablet, just shake those tablets vigorously in the hands. So we can notice that whether the tablet is splits or there is the presence of a cap, that is different layers. Layers are separated like this. This is tablet and the layers are getting separated. If we shake these tablets vigorously in our hand, it can be identified. Or we can perform the friability test. What is friability test? It is the tendency of a solid particle to break into small pieces. This is the tendency of solid particles. So the friability test is used to identify the tendency of this tablet to break down into smaller pieces. If the compression is not proper, if the granules are not granulated in a proper way, this friability can be occur even after the compression or at the time of storage. Okay. So by using this friability test, we can identify the quality of the tablet, the possibility of the tablet to break down into layers or splitting into different parts. These are the checking methods. Then, what are the corrective measures to control or minimize this defect? That is capping and splitting. How we can minimize or control this defect? The first and most important is granulating the material. How the quality of the tablet is mainly depends on the granulation of the granules. This is the basic and most important step of the production of a quality tablet. And altering the pressure adjustments. Excessive pressure may lead to the release of the air bubbles. Okay, so the pressure adjustment is also playing a very important role. Then reducing the speed of the machine. Control the speed. Over excessive pressure may lead to the splitting. Excessive pressure and excessive speed of the sponges may lead to the breaking down or the splitting up of tablets. Then replace worn-out dies and punches. This is one of the most important steps. Never use the worn-out equipments. Okay, it's very important to sterilize the products and maintain the quality of the equipments. And correct the level of the top and lower punch to coincide with the level of the upper surface of the die. Adjust the place, the upper, lower and die. The position of these dies and punches are also very important. If it pushes in the side of the tablet, then again there is a tendency of splitting of the tablet. The shape may vary. Then use proper granules and required amount of fine powders. The use of fine powder is very sensitive area. Okay, this is very sensitive. The quantity of the fine powders play one of the most important role in the process of granulation. So these are the corrective measures to control or minimize the capping and splitting of tablets. So now we have completed the first two defects of tablets. We will discuss the rest part in the coming sessions. I hope you enjoy this video. Thank you.